Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Planning Commission. First business of order, my name's Jimmy Hines. I'm the new chair of the committee, so bear with me. I'm learning this job. I didn't expect to have it. I think I got set up, but I'd like to take
Lois got set up for 15 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, I like to take the moment to mention Lois Kissinger Kelly. She was here for many, many years. I had the pleasure of serving with her for the last 2 years. And not only is she a very nice lady, she's, to me, a very professional lady, and she ran a pretty down-to-earth meeting, I thought. And she kept control of it, and I hope I can fill her shoes.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, we have an agenda that was handed out. It was on the public website. I'm sure everybody here has a copy. And the first thing we're going to do is look at the minutes from the last meeting. We're going to take a motion or a discussion first on the minutes. Any discussions, any questions, comments on the minutes? I only had one. On page 13, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody, under the master plan, the second paragraph, or the first paragraph under master plan, where it says, this concept is illustrative in nature and blank obligates the applicant to any future design. I think that should say does not obligate the applicant to any future design. And that's the only correction I really had. Any other comments?
Yes, sir.
Could I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'll move that we approve the minutes of the January 8th, 2026 meeting
Second.
as amended.
Okay. I'll take roll call. Jeff?
Aye.
Pete?
Aye.
Don?
Aye.
Phil?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion carries. Okay, we're going to switch things up a little bit tonight to help you folks out in the audience, because we don't want to bore you going through some of the stuff we got to do. So we're going to change new business. We're going to review the special development site plan, landscape plan application, and Mr. Kevin is going to do the presentation for the Town of Bel Air Planning Commission.
I got one item of administration is I've been getting in trouble because you guys are not talking into the microphones. Please make sure you do that because the people at home who are watching this on YouTube sometimes cannot hear what you're saying. So, okay, this is a property that's located at 126 North Main, which is Zone B2. The applicant, which is Brookside Market, is seeking site plan and landscape plan approval to convert and expand the existing 3,694 square foot building into a proposed 4,764 square foot restaurant. So that's about just a little over 1,000 square feet expansion. That would have a total interior seating capacity of 59, and the proposal includes 494 square foot outdoor dining area with 24 seats. The 1,070 square foot addition to the building is basically a freezer refrigerator unit, interior storage area, and a small office. The project area encompasses 4 parcels totaling 0.8089 acres. And I'm going to bring up one of the items here so everybody understands, because it wasn't labeled. There is the larger parcel. You guys probably can't see my cursor. That has the restaurant on it. And then there are 3 smaller parcels where the parking lot is across, next to or adjacent to Bond Street. So those 3 smaller parcels are why this is a four parcel, has 4 total parcels. The building was formerly used as a bank and a restaurant. Some people always refer to Gino's as the classic use that was there for many years.
Gino's and Roy Rogers.
And Roy Rogers, and then it was People's Bank and Baynet Bank and probably a few others. Site plan notes should be revised to provide existing total square footage, existing and proposed building area, proposed number of seats, both indoor and outdoor, and the current deed of record shown for in the notes. There's also a discrepancy between the tax records and the site plan regarding the acreage, so those just need to be cleaned up. They're nothing is major as far as an issue, but just to clean up the site plan. The existing principal structure is in the central portion of the site and complies with all the setbacks. Vehicular access from North Bond Street and North Main Street will be maintained in their current location. The site plan shows a total of 41 parking spaces are provided on site, including 2 handicap spaces. The applicant is advised that they have to make sure that the proposed handicap spaces must meet the slope requirements for handicap, which means you can't, the cross slope cannot be over 2%. The travel way can be 5%, but the cross slope can't be over 2%. Parking requirements for the service use are exempt within the B2 business district. However, the 59 seats plus 24 seats equaling 83 seats would typically require 28 parking spaces, and 41 are required, so you're over by quite a bit. The proposed development information notes should be corrected to show 41 spaces as indicated on the site plan. Regarding the proposed trash dumpster pad shown in the northwest corner, this is here. Staff recommends the following. Then a note saying proposed 20-foot by 10-foot concrete trash pad and enclosure with 6-foot high PVC fence enclosure to match architecture. Now, if they want to go with another material, I certainly don't have a problem with that. That is more your preference if you want to keep the PVC or do some other material, and they may make some suggestions to you. Pedestrian access has to be provided, meaning, and this has been done over the years to prevent those big doors from being opened the first day and never being closed because it's just, that's typically what happens, is those just remain open. There needs to be a clarification whether the graphic shown within the enclosure is a portable grease trap. Staff does not recommend an above-ground grease trap since it attracts rodents and creates a nuisance. And that needs to be clarified tonight. One existing freestanding sign is currently located within the North Bond Street right-of-way, and that's being shown to be relocated behind the right-of-way. That just needs to specify size, height, and setback on the final plan. If an additional sign is proposed, separate submission to the Board of Appeals is required to obtain a variance from the limit of 1 freestanding sign per parcel. That staff would not oppose, given the fact that these folks are on 2 one-way streets. The site plan includes a note stating AC units to be removed. We just need to know where they're going. I assume they're going on the roof, but this needs to be explained. There needs to be a legend detailing what the symbols mean on the plan. There isn't one right now. Development agreement is required if 4 parcels are not proposed for consolidation in the land records, meaning we have 4 parcels. They need to be consolidated into one, or there needs to be a development agreement that is put together that all 4 parcels are going to be cooperate regarding any kind of issues with the town zoning. The reason that's being done is that whenever you have the extra parcels, there's nothing that prevents the owner from selling off 1 or 2 or 3 parcels and having somebody else own those, and the restaurant would not have control over them or the parking that's on them. Please clarify at the hearing if there's going to be exterior pedestrian access into the proposed outdoor dining area, which could also be used to access the restaurant. The reason I'm asking that, and there's no requirement here, is that when somebody, say, comes up the sidewalk, do they have to walk around to get to the front door here, or is there a way to get in through the outdoor dining? Not a problem for me, but it's good for you to understand exactly where the access, ingress and egress to the facility is. Please provide a call out identifying the type and height of the proposed railing around the dining area. This just helps us understand that there is a railing, it is protected. That's one of the requirements to make sure there's a barrier there. Typically a bike rack is required for any development that's this type. Regarding landscape, the applicant submitted a landscape plan for review. However, while the existing vegetation is identified, none of the proposed plantings are specified. So there's additional work that's needed to provide the required information on the plan. So you've got plant names, both common and botanical, quantity of each plant, proposed height and caliper for trees and height for shrubs, on-center spacing between the proposed plants, additional notes regarding whether they're balled and burlapped or container, things like that. So that, and I don't have that shown up here. Let's see. Yeah, some of these, I just don't know what they are. And so for us to have a proper review, we just need to have more information.
Is it fair to say for purposes tonight that we don't have a landscape plan provided?
For the purposes of providing locations of the plantings, we're fine. What we need to have is what they are and the details on how they're represented and whether they're big enough to meet the code. So there's a thought that if the Planning Commission wants to continue the landscape plan to the next hearing, or to allow staff to review, to approve it based on conditions that these things be met, then either one is fine with staff.
Okay.
Let's see. Also, each plant needs to be labeled on the plan. Also, we're looking for a calculation. How do they meet the requirements that are in the code? And we believe they do, but it just needs to be provided. Final landscape must be signed, dated, and sealed by our Maryland registered landscape architect or approved professional. While the buffer along North Main Street only needs to be 3 feet to meet the width for commercial parking, we actually need 4 feet in width to accommodate the deciduous trees they're showing along here, which they are required to provide. So they just need to get one more foot, which isn't going to affect anything with their parking or their aisle width. It just is one more foot that we need in order to provide enough planting area for the trees. The existing zoning, there was a couple existing zoning violations for a landscape buffer down here, right next to Bond Street. That will be solved and addressed with this submission. So it would mean the violation would go away. There was another violation with recycling containers out here. They've been removed, so that's been addressed. A photometric lighting plan was not included with the application, and we just need more information on whether new lighting is proposed, like area lighting, pole lighting. And if they are, we do need a photometric plan to go with that. The applicant submitted color elevations and architectural renderings of the proposed building for review. These materials are also reviewed by the town's architectural consultant, and their comments are attached to your package. We had 2 items on there. One was to indicate the location of the HVAC. We're assuming it's on the roof, but we just need to hear that. If it is on the HVAC, if rooftop HVAC or mechanical equipment is proposed, ensure that there is adequate screening on the roof to make sure that no one can see that. On sheet A2.1, there needs to be elaboration on the materials, finishes, and colors of the proposed walk-in cooler freezer storage on the south and west side of the elevations. Based on staff review, the addition does not appear to meet the Town of Bel Air Code Section 165-30D. The appearance of the proposed addition must be in harmony with the rest of the structure and the neighborhood, and there does not seem to be an attempt to do so based on the information provided. That's something that I'm sure they'll address tonight. Regarding special development, the proposed special development must comply with the Town of Bel Air's performance standards regarding outdoor dining. The southern addition to the building will feature outdoor seating area equipped with television and other visual displays, but will not include a bar. The development must adhere to restrictions on amplified music, live entertainment, limiting such activities between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Typically, outdoor seating area is limited to 75% of the fire-rated capacity of the principal permitted use. Since parking is not required for uses within the B2, service uses within the B2, the development is not required to provide additional parking. This means that there's no limitation to the treatment of this area if they wanted to enclose it. Right now, it's an outdoor dining area that cannot be enclosed or conditioned space. It can't be year-round. It's got to be only seasonal. That's the whole concept of having the throwaway for parking for that type of a use. But in this case, they don't need to provide that parking, therefore enclosing it would not deter or create a problem with the code. The rest is, oh, sorry. You need to talk.
So if they were to enclose it with like a vinyl covering during the winter time, or when you talk enclosing, are you talking like just building a hard structure?
The way we look at it is if that outdoor dining area is enclosed so it functions for 12 months out of the year, so if it was functioning when it was 9 degrees out, that would be considered a conditioned space and would require parking in any other zone but the B2. And that's why the outdoor dining has that limitation on 75% of the interior. Typically what happens is when people are going to a restaurant or a tavern, whatnot, if it's a nice day, they'll be sitting outside. If it's not a nice day, they'll be sitting inside. And sometimes, and there will be these times where they're sitting in both, but that's the concept of not needing to provide that extra parking for a seasonal use. That's all I've got.
Okay. Now, at this time, the applicant can give their presentation. Please state your name, speak into the mic.
will, sure.
Name,
Yes.
address, and your
Okay.
relationship to the...
I will. So Paul Thompson, I'm the president of Architectural Design Works. We're at 22 West Allegheny Avenue in Towson, Maryland. Actually, we're serving as the architect of record for the owner, Brookside Market, and I'll introduce Dan Blevins, our civil engineer, in just a moment. I wanted to hit some of the big picture architectural items real quick, if I may. So, look, we have a lot of foliage up against...
Excuse me, pardon
excuse-
me, but is your microphone on? Is your green light on? I can hear you sitting here, but I'm not sure that.
Okay. I'll try to
to.
speak into it better. Is that better? Okay, great. So
Thanks.
the rear of the building, if you will, we call it the rear, it's the south elevation, if you will. I think it's one click further. Where we're doing our shipping and receiving is screened by a lot of heavy foliage. So we concentrated our architectural effort on the other three elevations to make sure we had really nice stone and other materials that really enhanced Main Street and Bond Street. Certainly understanding what Mr. Edmeades brought up in his report, and we've now made some modifications in our architecture we'd like to share, if we may. So we have the colored elevations as well as the revised color renderings, which now show brick on the walk-in box so that we have that same continuity of materials throughout all four elevations. We have actually added a louvered screening system on the top of the walk-in so that we're dealing with potentially some mechanical and compressor items that would be screened then from Main and Bond. To be frank, our mechanical engineer has not been engaged yet, so we're not sure exactly what our approach is going to be, but we're going to go ahead and put that louvered system in at the very least for the compressors, for the walk-in coolers. So with that said, I think our revised elevations and renderings meet the requirements in the code, and I think would make Mr. Edmeade much more comfortable with our approach. If I could jump to the trash corral real quick, because I know Mr. Schler finds that very important, and I do too, especially with it being right on Main Street, right? So we're going to make sure it's a very durable enclosure. The comment about the grease, it's not a grease trap. The grease trap will be in the ground, in the back of the building, so that they can pump that out. What that typically is for these kinds of restaurants is a barrel that actually has leftover grease that isn't picked up by the grease trap before it goes into the town sewer. So people come in and then they take that away. It's capped, it's just a holding vessel, because one, you don't want to pour it down the drain and have it go into the grease trap, right? It's a lot more effective to use that material if it's not filled with water and other particulates. So, I mean, that's a pretty standard process in these kinds of restaurants. So I just wanted to note that. With that said, architecturally, I've got the renderings here as well to give you a better feel for, I think, the presence we're going to have here. The structure's pergola system that we're proposing on the flank overlooking Bond Street has been used up at Lib's Grill. You mentioned the enclosure. We're not sure yet whether it'll even be enclosed. We need to have some of those discussions really with the liquor board next, and some of the back and forth that'll happen there. Our hope is that we could enclose it, and that we would do it with a upgraded product. They do make a micro perforated vinyl that comes down with a remote control, very high-end aesthetic. It's very modern. But they also make a glass enclosure that has a drink rail around it, so the glass can slide back and forth. It's a very upscale look. I mean, you're seeing these pop up down in Perry Hall at Conrad's. Basically, Michael's Cafe did a huge one on York Road. We're about to put one on Bluestone Restaurant on Aylesbury Road as well. So they're all the rage right now, and it just makes people comfortable. Look, Maryland is probably a 3-month a year where you're comfortable outside sitting, right, where it's not too hot or too cold. We just want to make sure our customers are really comfortable with the experience that we're providing. We're very excited about this on Main Street, and with that, I'd like to introduce.
So, Paul, before you go.
Please.
So is your roof over top of the outdoor dining, is that a
So
louvered roof?
it's actually a metal pergola system that when it rains, it automatically closes.
Okay.
And it sheds water to a gutter system and then discharges out onto our parking lot. So it's a metal fin blade, right? And it has a sensor on it that automatically closes. So that, even if it's not closed in, if you will, it's just open air,
Right.
they still protected by the rain.
Thank you.
Of course, you're welcome. So any other questions on maybe what I presented here in response to Mr. Edmeade's comments and some of the staff report comments?
I missed the part about the air conditioners. Where's that going?
So on the back piece of where the walk-in coolers are, we have a louvered vent specified on our elevations. That would encapsulate the compressor units for the walk-in and freezer, as well as potentially those HVAC units that we may need for the restaurant
You've
itself.
got that behind it. Is that the elevation?
It is, no, that's the old one.
It's the old one, but is there,
Okay, yeah, so that entire area here on this flank and above,
here?
the area below would be stone, the area above would be the louvered vent to screen any HVAC or compressor units, okay? Like I said, we hadn't hired our mechanical engineer yet. We don't have entitlements yet, and it's a very expensive engineering process, but that would be our placeholder to make sure everything's screened, for your approval.
So, Paul, I see on here, you're going to use the existing windows?
So in large part, we're trying to reuse the existing windows. We have actually a really nice banquette that's going to be around that curved window on the opposite facade to that, the one facing Robinson Law.
Yeah. So they're going to be clear?
So they are clear, yes.
Clear windows, okay.
We'll probably have some shading systems or something on the inside to mitigate direct sunlight and so forth, and just provide that comfort of the experience.
Also, Paul, I was curious about that little storage area. Is that a structure or just an area?
You're
Where-
talking in between the office and the walk-in cooler? So they do a lot of,
Yeah.
they do a lot of catering, and our thought is that that would be an area that they could park stainless steel equipment and so forth, in between catering operations.
That's right. So I see it's just a fence right now. It's not going to be screened from view from Bond Street.
So if you so desire, we're happy to use the slotted vinyl product, right, to screen
I really think that
that?
should be screened.
Yeah, happy to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll make sure of it. And again, given the direction of travel there and the height of that, you never see it from Bond Street. But point well taken.
I was just curious, Paul, who is parking in those 3 parcels now next to the American Legion? Because I went by a little while ago and there were 15 cars in there.
So there's a lot of spillover from a lot of the other properties, right? Maybe perhaps some of the construction that's occurring in the area. But look, at the end of the day, we don't think we'll need it. We hope we use it. But yeah, it's there for
Anybody?
pretty much, since we don't have the on-site parking requirement. Look, we want to make it easy for our customers to be able to get in and out of the building, right? So we expect a lot of foot traffic. We really do. I mean, that's why he wants to be on Main Street. Got a big office building across the street and a new building going up across the street with apartments and so forth. So I think you're going to really see community support for their product. I really do.
Your rendering shows a lot of landscape
microphone on,
planting,
buddy.
foundation, shows some foundation planting around the, around the existing structure. That doesn't show up on the landscape plan. Is that gonna, will you add that to your, or
So
is
so
that-
the owner wants to be really proud of the end result. We added that sort of as a placeholder. Renderers take a little bit of license, if you will.
Sure.
I think it's probably going to be more than what we're showing, if I know the owner and what they have over in Jacksonville. I mean, it's wonderfully landscaped.
Okay. I know that where the walk-in freezer cooler, there is a light back in that corner that's gonna come down. Do you think you're gonna need to add any more lighting?
So we want to do really strong accent lighting to really have this building sing on one of the most important lots, I think, in the area. It hasn't been designed yet, but what we will do is submit a photometric light design to the staff as we move through the process to make sure everybody's comfortable with our approach. And it'll be designed by an electrical engineer.
Okay.
Thank you. With that, may I invite Dan Blevins up, our civil
Yes.
engineer, to maybe go through some of the specific points in the staff report?
Of course.
Okay, great.
Good evening. My name is Dan Blevins. I am the president of Development Design Solutions down in Baltimore County, 3202 Acton Road
Gotta get
in Parkville,
up
Maryland.
for the taller people now.
So I'm the one who prepared the site plan. I agree with all the comments here that are on here, and plan on adding the notes and taking care of any questions that you guys would have. I think you've already answered the grease trap or the grease enclosure, what we're using there. As far as the sign, I will note that on the plan. I did not know that you needed that information on the plan, as far as what size it is and so forth. And we'll take that in consideration and make sure that it meets the town's requirements as far as the sign, square footage, and so
It
forth.
would just be on the final plan.
Correct. Landscape plan. I apologize. I'm used to when I submit the first landscape plan to Planning Commission or For the first review, we just show as a schematic. We don't get involved in putting all the type of plantings and so forth on there. But what it does show is where we're putting plantings and so forth to meet the town of Blair's requirements. It shows how many street trees we need, how many shrubs and everything, and it meets that requirement. We did not show any plantings up around the building area. I was more or less leaving that up to the owner for his final push on the building. Once he gets the building finished, that he can go ahead and landscape it accordingly, because there's no requirements up around the building itself. So,
Foundation planting is not required.
right. So, that being said, as Paul said, you know, we're planning on putting some flowers and little shrubs and stuff like that in there to dress the building up even more. But what shows on there is pretty much what's required, and we meet the requirements for the landscaping plan. When we do our final landscape plan, we'll get into showing all the specimen trees, as noted on here, on your comments.
I think we're used to having them presented now, as by way of process.
Correct, and I apologize, I did not know that, like I said, I thought it was just a
When
schematic.
would you expect them to be available? Just
I can
would-
have them available before the end of next week.
Okay, that gives us the options as Mr. Small delineated, just as far as process.
Right, and I'd be more than
Right-
happy to
right
send
now-
it to Kevin.
Right now, you're asking us to approve a landscape plan that we don't have any idea what you're planting.
Specimen trees, the types of trees.
Well, but I mean, in
Yeah.
the plan, what you've submitted doesn't tell us that.
That is correct. That is correct. And
That's not usual for our process here, so we have to
Okay.
figure out how to work through that tonight.
okay, and I'll be more than happy to send something to Kevin so he can take a look at it and approve it.
It'll be a matter of whether we want to hold that piece over, just the landscaping piece, till the next meeting, or if we want to turn it over to staff and have them make the judgment for us.
Is there a certain type of trees that you would like to see?
I'm not a arborist, is that the right term? We just know what we get submitted, and then we get staff comments, and right now, I don't have anything submitted.
Sure, I understand that, and that's, you know, why we did a schematic to show how many trees are gonna meet the requirements. And I guess, you know, when we get into the final landscape plan, it's gonna be looking at the building, how that's gonna look, and trying to match the plantings with the building also, and plus the surrounding area.
Before we move on about that, but the tree aspect, my question is, there's a significant incline on the side of the building there, from the sidewalk up. You're at an angle like this.
On Bond Street.
On Bond Street.
Right.
So what type of, I mean, what are we looking at from a tree standpoint?
I think those are all existing.
Most of those are existing along Bond Street. We're not taking out the existing, so whatever's there, we're gonna have to kind of
Yeah,
complement what's
that's
there now.
all within the state highway right away, and those were planted when state highway did their work.
So what, are we adding additional trees to that, or are they just putting bush?
I don't see any
Low-lying
new
bushes.
trees there, no.
Okay.
There's
There-
some additional shrubs that are being planted there.
There's a tree up in the parking lot where the set of concrete steps are, right there. And then if you go down all the way to the other end where the 4 parcels are, we got a couple trees
Yeah.
along there. And they'll match what's across the existing trees, whatever's there.
Yeah,
I
these would,
guess I was not so much worried about the parking lot down at the bottom, because that's basically at grade. I'm looking at the ones
Mhm.
that are not at grade.
yeah,
because of the height.
these along here are all existing. The ones down here would have to match those
Correct,
as far as the species.
correct.
Any other questions, comments?
Also.
Mr. Chair, I had a question
Yes.
of Mr. Blevins. Mr. Blevins, according, your client, Mr. Casey Brooks, purchased the property under an LLC, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, according to his title deed, there is a covenant on the property, and it says, subject to the continuing obligation and covenant of the grantee, which is him, its successors and its signs to maintain in its undisturbed state the stone property line marker on the Main Street side of the building in perpetuity. This covenant and restriction shall be subject to the enforcement of both the grantor, who's the person that he bought it from, its successors and assigns, and the commissioners of the town of Bel Air, otherwise known as the Board of Town Commissioners. This covenant's restriction shall run with and bind the land which is conveyed herein and shall be binding thereon in perpetuity. So my question is on the site plan, where is this marker? I can't seem to locate it.
That is a very good question, because I'm not even sure where the marker is. I'd have to look into it and find out where it is.
Okay.
I can tell you this much, anything along Main Street, from where the existing curb is, and then the sidewalk, and then there's an existing curb, all we did was took that planting area behind that existing curb, and we moved it back 3 feet, but now we're gonna move it back 4 feet, another foot. And that's all we're doing out along there. We're not touching anything with, close to that right away, from the parking out to the right of way.
Okay,
So if that marker's within that area, it's not gonna be touched.
okay, but I don't know where it is.
I understand
Yeah.
that, and I would have to find out and get back with you on it.
Yeah, so if you can find it, and then it would probably need to be marked on the site plan. If your
I think
client
we're
has no
looking for it
intention, if your client has no intention of continuing to maintain it, then he would have to submit a request to the Board of Town Commissioners to have this covenant released. So I just wanted to make that clear, because I can't tell, is it being impacted by any of the landscaping, or, I just don't know where it's at.
Right.
And I literally read that verbatim off of his title deed.
Well, what I can do is I'll find out where that marker is, and I'd be more than happy to let you know.
Thank you.
I'm gonna be honest with you, it's the first I've heard of that too.
Yeah, I just looked it up, so.
Wow.
What if it's gone?
That's a good question. That's a good
I
question.
wonder if
I'd have
it's
to
a
look into it.
surveyor, a survey marking or something like
It's
that?
like-
It
Likely a survey
literally
marker.
says the stone property line marker on the Main Street side of the property, and it's
It
the
might be
126 North Main Street
Okay.
lot
It's
that
pro-
it's referring to.
It's probably a survey marker at the property corner, and they don't want it removed or touched or
It's
anything?
probably historic in
I was gonna say,
some
Right,
it's gonna be
way,
so
historic.
that,
not necessarily preserved, but,
right, so I can tell you right now that I'll find it, and wherever it is, it's gonna stay there, because we're not doing any disturbance out there,
okay.
okay?
Thank you.
It's no problem.
Does-
Also.
Do we have
um,
to make, excuse me, do we have to make that a condition?
I think it should be a condition, or he would need to come to the board to have that condition, that covenant released, if he was going to move it or not. It's not only not moving it, there's an existing perpetuity responsibility to maintain it in its undisturbed state. What that means, because I don't know where it is or what it looks like, I'm not sure. So if you could let us know and maybe send us some pictures or give us an idea,
Okay.
we'll go out and take a look at it. So.
Right. Well, what I'll do is, as you suggested, I'll go out, find it, take a picture, I'll have my surveyor do it.
You're not gonna find it in the
And-
next 2 weeks.
Well, that may be true.
Yeah,
Good point.
so, if I can get your email afterwards, I'm happy to send you what I'm looking at.
No problem,
Okay,
no problem.
thank you.
And then also you asked for photographic lighting, photometric lighting plan. I just talked to the owner. The owner has no plans on doing any additional lighting. The one light pole that will come down, we'll look into it and see if we can't put some kind of wall pack on to match where the area is, and make sure that the light does not go out into the street in any way, shape, or form. Or if he plans on taking and replacing the lights, we will then get a photometric light plan for you.
Okay.
Yeah, that,
I would assume we need lighting there. You're gonna need security lighting, if anything.
Sure.
But for your
It may
patrons
even
going
be-
out in the parking lot.
a photometric plan to figure out if there's adequate light out there. I don't know,
Okay,
something.
all right, I'll make sure that happens. All right.
Okay.
Other than that, I have no other questions, or
I
if
have
you
one
have
other-
any questions.
I have one other question about
Yes, sir.
the traffic pattern. Coming in off of Main Street, and then you go around the restaurant to the angled parking spaces there, okay? It's,
Yes,
when you come in off of Bond Street, Is there gonna be a no left turn? Or
There-
are they just gonna be able to go wherever they wanna go?
No, sir. I think that's a very good question, and what we would do is we would put a one-way sign on there, no entrance.
Yeah.
We'll put a couple signs on the
Yeah,
on
that would
the
have to
side.
be in several locations.
Yeah.
You're showing it that off of Bond Street that you can exit and ingress and egress.
Correct.
But you can't take a left once you've entered the site.
I mean, basically, you can go right or you go straight.
Right.
Correct.
Because of their lining, I mean, they have the arrows showing.
Right.
Now,
But there would be, for somebody accessing the site, you would have to have, they would have to see some kind of a sign either says no left turn or one way this way.
Or do not enter on the
Right.
other side.
Yeah, whatever's appropriate.
All right.
Maybe giant arrows on the blacktop so people.
There can be, but
see
then,
it.
you know,
People don't.
days like,
Yeah,
you know, a
they-
week
they don't
ago,
look
no
at
one would
signs
know where the
either.
arrows were.
Did we get
We could paint it white.
clarification about people accessing from that parking area that we're just talking about through the
Right, they're
outside
showing
dining? Is
direction of
that how
travel
they're
through
gonna
the
do
lot.
that, or how do they get into the building?
So if I may jump in, the intent with these kinds of projects is to always drive everyone through the front door. We don't want backdoor entry necessarily, so we will make it safe for those other folks in those parking spaces to get around the building. We've had plenty of space sidewalk-wise.
So this is your only access from the outside?
Yeah, you want to control the access point
I
to
know,
the
I'm just,
restaurant.
it's the question.
No, but the liquor board is going to require, this will address your railing around that structure. It'll probably be 34 to 42 inches tall. May have some shrubbery on the top of it to dress it up and warm it up a little bit. And the thought is that it would have an exit gate off that patio, because you can either go back through the restaurant or you need a second exit off that patio from a International Building Code standpoint.
But as far as ingress, this is the only access point.
That's
Okay.
our intention,
I'm
yes.
I'm just trying to get the answer, so.
I
everybody
understand, yes, that's our intention.
Did you have something to add, Jeff?
I was just gonna say, you're also showing that you're also showing that you're putting hand railing on the existing stairs up from Bond Street, so if you just add information on what that railing is.
That is correct. That's on the site plan. On the existing concrete steps, they want handrails up on the sides there. I think I have a note on the plan.
If you've seen those steps, they're very steep. I don't even know if they meet current code requirements, but they're in the right-of-way.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make them safer, and that
No,
was the
that's-
reason.
Right, no,
And that's
that was
fine.
something that I had mentioned when they came in, is you're gonna keep the steps, there's gotta be a handrail, because that's code.
Right.
If you're not gonna keep the steps, then get rid of them.
So you're gonna keep the steps and
Yeah.
just put
want us
hand,
to keep
okay.
them and make them safer.
Any other comments from staff, questions?
Do you have
Okay.
anybody else? It's gonna,
We do
Present.
not, unless the owner wants to make a statement. It's up to you, Casey. Yeah, I think that's healthy.
You just need to state your name and your address and your relationship.
Casey Brooks, 13825 Manor Road, Baldwin, Maryland, 21013. Casey, my wife Erica. Just to introduce the level of excitement for this project, I don't know if you call it the north end or the south end of Bond Street, but to bring life back to the corridor of downtown Bel Air and make sure that people are walking from the start to the finish. We're trying to bring life back to a building that seems to be empty for about 3 or 4 years from what I'm being told. So tons of excitement from our end, hoping to move past this portion and start swinging hammers and eventually serving food. But going through the process, and just wanted to take a second to thank each of you for your time tonight and to this project, and hopefully take it to the finish line.
You
So
will be
thank
an
you.
excellent addition to that end of town.
Thank you.
I'm just curious about the menu, basically. Hamburgers or?
What are you doing tomorrow? Or the next day
You
or
can
the
get
next day?
anything you want then.
I can meet you on our copy and paste model in Phoenix, Maryland. We've operated there for 8 years. My wife's family's in the restaurant business. I was in it 10 years prior on my own on Joppa Road in Parkville. But anyone that wants to see the model, if that's what your question is, or curiosity is,
Just what kind of food is it?
It's American-driven food with a heavy influence of Italian. We have brick oven pizza, large portioned salads for
Yeah.
lunch, heavy protein style. A lot of carry-out. We're involved in the Uber Eats process and things like that. It seems like half the world doesn't want to get off the couch and come out and eat anymore. And then at dinner time, we have full service. We don't have a bar, it's a service bar, so we have option to have beer, wine, and spirits served to you, but we don't want to entertain someone sitting at the bar and telling us your life problems. I did that for well over a decade, and I leave that to the seasoned veterans of Main Street, which there's an arsenal of them that we support and love each and every one of them, don't want to take from them. So, it's food, a drink or two, and back to your family.
There you go.
Do you-
Okay, sounds good.
Do you anticipate a lot of pickup? People coming by and picking up their food and leaving?
A lot, what is a lot? 20%
What's the percentage?
maybe?
20%?
20?
The reason I'm asking is, would it benefit you, and it doesn't really matter to us as far as allocated parking, but would it make sense to have a couple of spaces that are designated just for pickup?
So the way we operate now, we don't have designated spaces. It seems as if people enjoy coming in because the level of convenience per the liquor license that we were requesting is, hey, I'm here to grab my carryout, I'm here to see Paul sitting there with his family. People like to get out, still feel like they're out, all while picking out carryout. So the fact that you can grab your carryout, say hi to Mr. Phil, pick up a six-pack and jump back in your car, it kind of makes for a night out, but it's very fast and casual. So
Okay.
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
It's purely, it's more curiosity on my part, because it's, like I said, he doesn't have a requirement for parking, but if there is a high carryout amount, it would make sense to put some spaces
If this
out.
is an afterthought and you asked me 1 year after operating and we had heavy influx, I would imagine we would be requesting to add those
Right.
spaces.
Which you can do without us granting you.
I'm still
anything.
learning all the rules out here, but just, no.
They've really built a nice sense of community with their store out in Jacksonville. People are ravenous about the food. You're gonna love it, Mr. Schleier.
Community is a lot of the reason we didn't necessarily choose Bel Air, but we feel as if it's the same community that we operate in now. It's a big portion of why we do our daily operation. We give a ton back. We operate our own 501(c) charity, golf tournaments. We sponsor every school, every sign, every ball field. So it is a big factor to our family business.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys
Thank you.
and girls.
Now, this is the time anybody in the public wishes to make any comments, you would have 5 minutes up at the mic. Yes, sir. All you need to do is state your name and address and speak right into that mic.
Nathan Booth, 135 Wallace Street, Bel Air, Maryland, right across the street. So, just want to say I'm very excited about this project. We're longtime patrons of your other location. Can't support it enough. The property that I personally built overlooks this property. I'm happy to see it get taken care of. It's been an eyesore for a while. The only consideration I had, it sounds like Mr. Thompson's already on top of, would be the trash receptacle being a vinyl fence, but it seems like you guys are going to do something a little bit more sturdy and hopefully, maybe match the veneer stone. My thoughts were it should be a little bit taller, keep the trash from blowing out, and obviously something that can stand up to commercial use. Other than that, I think this is a great project. Everything I've heard about you guys has been great, and I can't wait to patronize your restaurant. So, thank you.
Thank you.
sir.
Anybody else like to make a comment or speak? Okay. I guess it's time for a motion.
Time for the motions.
I do have are you going to discuss after the motion? Because there are a couple of things that you guys, you need to decide
To add in
on
this
the
condition.
elevations, what he's given you as far as the revisions, just to make sure that you address those as you go through your motions.
What about the parking, or making 4 into 1, or? I said, what about the making the 4 lots into 1, or maintaining that? 'Cause
That
to
one
me,
is, go ahead.
To me, that's the big,
Yeah,
issue
for
for
us,
this.
it's, and Ms. Thompson can explain it even better, is you have to have some kind of an arrangement where the 4 parcels are dependent upon each other. If you don't, then they need to be consolidated. If you have the development agreement that binds them all together, you can always dissolve that agreement if you sell it, but at that point, you're now coming, the town is a signatory
Well,
to
I mean,
that, and you're
we're-
now coming back to the town for that.
But we're looking at an issue like, you know, putting a Popeyes in the corner of a parking lot that, where the parking is already a problem. You know, I hear that they may be putting something where Miller's is, a standalone there, so.
So that'd be news to me.
Well, again,
Yeah.
I heard that somebody was talking about that there's a lot there that they can put something next to Miller's, so.
Mhm.
Every time you have a parking, I mean, in their case, they've got 41 spots. I'm assuming one of the lower spots here is 16, so that still gives them 35 spots if something were to happen with the lower portion. But to me, it makes sense that we codify the parking or all the parcels.
Yes. That, I mean, and that's one of the, you can.
Yeah,
let's-
I mean, I think the applicant has to decide or tell us what he wants to do. If he consolidates all 4 of the parcels together, problem solved, right? Because they can't be pulled apart.
I understand.
So if he's not going to do that, and he's going to keep them 4 individual parcels, then he would need, at a minimum, an
Like an
easement.
Right,
Correct.
right,
That would,
okay.
because what you're approving is up here, I understand from the perspective of the planning department and the code, he doesn't need parking, right?
Right.
So there is no parking requirement, but that doesn't mean that you guys aren't saying, this is what I'm approving, and it's not to be changed until he comes back.
Right.
So I'm happy, and I think an easement would be appropriate to make sure that something is of record, to memorialize the fact that that area there, the other 3 lots, is encumbered by this approval. And I'll record the approval, your approval letter with the easement.
Well,
and the
one of the
land
things
records.
the planning department's concerned about is if something is put on one of those 3 lots that does not, I'll go to where we've been experiencing lately. If somebody
Yeah.
came out and put Jersey barriers on those 3 lots, and those are against the code in the B2, and he said, I'm on this lot, I'm not on those lots. So that kind of sense that development agreement would put all of these 3 lots, all 4 lots, in the same boat when it comes to zoning enforcement.
Yeah,
So-
and we can do a declaration as well.
Right.
To say, this is to be used for this is restricted in this use, subject to any further approvals by the planning commission. So he would have to come back to you guys and say, hey, remember those 3 lots? I want to put Jersey barriers or whatever up there, and then you guys would have to approve it, so.
I mean, I'm not trying to hold him forever and ever. I have no problem with the easement dying if something else happens to
And that can
redevelop.
happen, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm looking at it from this project, because to me, I have no problem with the way it was designed, everything looks great. It's just the parking aspect of things, that the 4 parcels, everything else, anytime we bring parcels together, everybody wants one parcel, but if it's acceptable to have 4 parcels, I think an easement needs to be here for the length of the time that this
Yeah.
is operation.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it from the perspective of you guys are giving him an approval based on a representation that's made here today. And he's to operate under that representation if you approve it. Well, if he turns around and gets his approval, I'm not saying he would, I'm not saying that. But it's a possibility that any applicant could walk out the door, get the approval that you did, and not actually follow through and do something else with part of the property that you're relying upon in that representation. So that's why I'm of the same mind as you, so. Yes, sir.
Just per that conversation from our side, we're happy to enter in any kind of declaration. I'd rather not retitle and merge everything just for the expense, but any kind of declaration or any kind of paperwork drafted by this town of Bel Air, and we're happy to support that. We have no intention of selling off parcel to parcel to parcel, separating them on our journey here. So verbally, I'm telling you that. I'm happy to get past this if motion is granted and work as hard as we can to find an agreement to satisfy the board that we will not be selling off piece by piece of either of those 3 parcels. Okay? Thank you, guys.
Liz, would we word that in there as a condition then?
Yes.
So right now, you have a recommended condition of provide a development agreement for all 4 parcels or submit parcel consolidation. You could say provide a development agreement or approved legal document.
Yeah, that'll give me a little bit of wiggle room.
I'd write more, but my pen just went out of ink.
For an approved legal document?
Or approved legal document right after agreement.
And we
So what would-
also-
Okay, I'm sorry.
Sorry, we also have to add in the condition about the marker?
Yes.
Or-
Yeah.
okay.
I got the marker, I'm not sure how to, this one we're just talking about now, number 6, the provide a development agreement or approved legal document, and then what? I mean, what is,
Oh,
keep these others still in play?
provide
Get rid
a
of them?
development agreement or approved legal document for all 4 parcels or submit a parcel consolidation plan to merge the parcels into one. That's number 6 on the.
Yeah. So in other words, he'd be able to just provide a document, I'm not gonna do this.
Right.
as part of the condition.
It gives him more flexibility,
Good.
that he doesn't have to provide what we've been typically asking for from the shopping centers. So it could be something a little bit simpler and more straightforward.
And I have no problem with it sunsetting if something were to change and, you know, he gets a better offer for his property too. I mean,
Right.
I'm not trying to hold it in.
But the town does have to be a signatory, correct?
Yes.
So that way, there could be a change to it if you did want to sell or if you did want to make different arrangements. I had one other question that we haven't talked about. Right now, the American Legion uses that parking through kind of a handshake agreement, I assume. And also, this parcel uses what I would call the alley that's owned by the American Legion for access in and out. Is that just, there's no real requirement from I think, the town, because you have adequate access, you have adequate, they don't require parking either. So, but it's a suggestion that maybe you would want to approach the American Legion to formalize something. But if it's just, if you're comfortable with the handshake, then you know, we don't have any.
I think right
issue
now
with
we're comfortable with the handshake.
Okay.
Well, look, we want them to be good neighbors, right? We want them to be at our restaurant.
Good point. Okay, any further discussion? Back to the motion. Phil, would you like to make a motion?
I first move that the proposed use meets the provisions of the 2022 comprehensive plan as required by Town Code Section 165-19.
Second.
Okay, have a second. Call roll.
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Pete?
Aye.
Don? Phil?
Aye.
Aye for myself.
Now, regarding the site plan, at a minimum, the approval of the preliminary site plan is conditioned on the following. Number 1, prior to building permit application, submission of a final site plan for signature incorporating comments from the staff report and comments from the Bel Air Fire Department, Hartford County Health Department, the Maryland State Highway Administration, the Hartford County Soil Conservation District, and their comments, Bel Air Public Works, and their comments, the town architectural consultant comments dated January 27th with a period with revised elevations as submitted at the meeting will satisfy the architectural recommendation. G, Maryland American Water Company We're waiting comments from them. Hope we got water.
That usually doesn't come until final plan.
Number 2, site plan, general notes and graphics. A, including the existing and proposed floor area, the total interior and exterior seating capacity, the correct parking account, and confirm the deed/owner on the final site plan. Provide a legend for site features detailed on the final site plan. 3, refuse/recycling enclosure required prior to building permit issuance. Revise the note on the trash corral pad to read Prop-20 W times 10 D, well, this is like a very algebraic equation. Conch period trash dumpster pad and 6-foot enclosure with 6 feet high PVC fence enclosure to match architecture. Is that all okay with you, Pete? Is that good?
Yeah.
B, provide a pedestrian access entrance to the enclosure.
Do you want to leave or?
I'm gonna eliminate C, because we're not going with that grease trap stays. I think we've been convinced of that, at least I have.
Can I, I'll let you finish.
Number 4, specify the size, height, and location of the proposed freestanding sign adjacent to North Bond Street on the final plan. Number 5, well, we have confirmed the relocation of the HVAC.
Right, they did.
So we don't need number 5. 6, provide a development agreement or approved legal document for all 4 parcels, with any plan to merge the parcels into one prior to a building permit, with any plan. If you're not doing it, then it doesn't matter. Number 7, provide a call-out identifying the type and height of the railing located around the proposed dining area. Number 8, provide a bike rack on the property on the final site plans. Number 9.
You
we've
kind of
done
addressed that already.
We addressed that earlier, yes. And number 10. Oh,
Stone marker.
preservation of any existing historic stone marker located on the Main Street side of the property. If you find one, you gotta keep it. I've walked by there a lot and I've never noticed it, but I think we did see it on the,
Yeah.
when we zoomed in on that.
Yeah, like I said, I'll have the surveyor go out there and check it, because if it's a property corner marker, he used it to do the altar survey and the boundary.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little stone marker right by that light, right there.
Right there?
I think that's a hand box for the light.
Or it could be a hand box.
Hard to say, but that's the best we could find. So that's why I say in the motion, if any, it may not exist.
It may have been covered up.
But wait a minute, Kevin, did
Second.
you have a clarification?
Yes. To me, if you're going to allow that grease trap, above ground grease trap to remain, and I know it's not really called a grease trap, but if you're going to let, I think there needs to be a lip around.
A curb around it?
Yeah,
Containment.
so that it can, containing structure.
Would you like to revise that motion?
Yes. Which one was that?
It's 3A.
3A. 3A is the dumpster.
Well, that's where the grease traps go. It's gonna be in there. 3A, well, 3C is.
Ah, yes. Under 3C, provide a lip.
I would call it, modify enclosure to provide a containment structure.
For the grease trap.
Yeah.
Got that? That's the revised motion.
Second.
Just discussion. We'd also talked, I'd also talked about screening that storage area.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
agreed.
Right, vision slats on the fence or
Yeah.
something.
Right. so I don't know where that goes,
Mm,
if you agree. Number 11?
yeah. Would you like to revise your motion?
Yep. Number 11, provide screening for storage area at the upper side of the property.
I believe on
From
the
the Bond
blueprint,
Street
it's
side.
the south rear. Is that what you call it? On the drawings, I think it's south rear.
Would you
The
also,
storage area?
would you also entertain a vinyl fence 6 foot high with gates that you can't see instead of putting the slats between the, like a chain link fence?
Up
As
to
long
you.
as you can't see it.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
What that does, it just matches the rest of the building.
Okay.
So amended.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Jeff?
Aye.
Aye.
Pete? Don?
Aye.
Phil?
Aye.
And it's an aye from myself. Do I have a motion for the landscape plan?
Just before we get somebody else to work us through
Who
there,
wa-
just.
Who wants to take a shot at the landscape?
I'll-
Well,
I'll
but
take a shot.
you got a decision to make about whether you want, sounds like you got a couple of options. You can approve you can provide a tentative approval to the landscape plan subject to staff approval of the actual submissions, or you can bring them back next month to see what the submissions are, and then we approve it. That's really.
Yeah, that's
those
what
are
I
the
was gonna
choices.
do.
I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other.
Discussion?
That's what I was gonna do in my motion.
Okay.
Propose that. Anyway, at a minimum, approval of the landscape plan is conditioned on the following. 1, prior to building permit application, submission of a final landscape plan incorporating comments from this staff report in the following. A Maryland registered landscape architect must sign, date, and seal the plan. B, include a plant schedule that identifies the species, quantity, size, height, spacing, and material description of the proposed planting. C, provide a calculation on the plan of the proposed landscape based upon the code requirements found in Article 8 and the landscape manual. D, provide identification on the plan graphic for all proposed plantings. E, increase the width of the landscape area between North Main Street and parking to accommodate street trees. And then F, all the above is subject to staff review and approval.
Second.
Can I add one thing? Is there any way that we could put a time limit on the submission, meaning that he has to do it by the end of the month? Because otherwise, we need a landscape architect to take a look at it. You can
Yeah.
run, but you can't
I would
hide.
say that it has to be, because I'm gone after the,
Right.
yeah.
So it should be, all the above is subject to staff review and approval within the next month,
No,
No.
by the end of the month.
By February 28th.
by February
So it's gonna be
28th,
2 weeks.
2026.
That works for you guys, right?
Yeah. I'll
Do
be
I
out
have a
late-
second?
Late at nights, but that's okay.
Second.
Okay. Roll
Pete
call.
seconds.
Jeff?
Aye.
Pete?
Aye.
Aye.
Phil? Jim, myself, aye.
Okay.
Here's the long one. You gonna do this one?
Do I have a
Not that
motion
long.
on the special development? Want to take a stab at it?
I'm not sure of the, I'll make a motion to approve the special development request for the outdoor dining. Oh, okay. Make a motion to approve the request for special development for the outdoor dining. And then just read through each of the items. The special development for mixed-use center is based upon the following findings of fact: that the applicant has demonstrated adherence to Town of Bel Air Code Section 165-53.I, 2I. A, amplified music or use of a public address system will not be permitted between 9 p.m. and 9 a.m. B, live entertainment or recreational games will not be permitted between 9 p.m. and 9 a.m. C, outdoor dining, bar operations will adhere to the requirements of Chapter 345 of the Town Code. D, the exterior area capacity will not be limited to 75% of the interior space since no parking is required with the exception of handicap spaces. E, the proposed development is not proposed within a shopping center and is proposed in a standalone commercial building in the B2 Central Business District.
Second.
Okay, have a second. Roll call. Jeff?
Aye.
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye for the chair.
You got it too quick.
That's it.
Welcome to
Congratulations.
You're all done, that's all you get.
Paul, can you send me the digital version?
Okay, folks, all I ask you to do is keep it down because we got some more business to take care of and everything's on recording, so we want to kind of keep it quiet. Thank you. Thank everybody who attended. Okay, the next order of business is new business, item, we switched it around, so it's item B, approval of the Planning Commission 2025 Annual Report. Now, I know we all got it, but were there any additions to the copy we got tonight?
Yes. Yeah, what you've got, and let me kind of explain to you the background of what you're doing, especially if the folks who are new, is that the state of Maryland requires that every planning commission provide a summary of the development activities in their respective towns or cities or counties. And that summary includes activity by the Planning Commission, by the Board of Appeals, by the Historic Preservation Commission, and any development activity that might be related to that, and especially any code revisions that are made by the town board. That's all information the state wants to see and understand. So that was provided to you about a week ago. Not too many changes have been made since then. The one thing we didn't have was a map of where all of the development activity occurred. And that is provided, I don't know, it's the first item in the appendix. In addition to that map, there is a comprehensive plan project status. Because you, the Planning Commission, create the comprehensive plan and administrate it, what the staff is doing is providing you, and you that would then provide to the state a summary of how you're doing, how the town is doing in adhering to and accomplishing the goals that you set in the comprehensive plan. So you'll see that in about 4 or 5 pages that are color-coded based on whether any activity's been done, whether you're halfway through or a quarter of the way through, and then there's a few places where it's green where it says you've completed that goal or objective. In addition to that, there is adequate public facilities legislation that was passed in 2025. There is, after that, a summary of building permits. The town had 5 new residential single-family dwelling permits issued. I don't think anybody knows where that's at. It's right off of Linwood. In addition, there were 2 new multifamily apartments condos that were also done. So a total of 7 new dwelling units were given building permits in the town over 2025. None received final use or occupancy permits as of right now. So there was 0 new occupations in 2025. The last item is a worksheet that we also added, which is a worksheet that we're required to submit to the state of Maryland. And that is something that basically reviews what number of permits were done, where were they put in what they call the PFA, which is the priority funding area. That's easy for us because the entire town of Bel Air is a priority funding area. So that, we answered the respective questions relative to what there are some municipalities that are not as big as we are, that last worksheet is all they do. They don't provide the other information. So I can answer any of your questions regarding some of the activities of 2025, but you should know most of them since they passed in front of you, or at least some of them passed in front of you.
In terms of process, what is does the state just take this report and file it? Do they review it?
Most of the
and come
time,
back-
yeah.
They don't ask questions, they don't submit it back to you and say, hey, we've got,
No. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, we do use the annual report when we go back and look at an update, which will be required for next year. There is an update that needs to be provided to the state regarding what you as a group want to do with regard to the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan was approved in 2022. It's good for 10 years, but the state requires that the Planning Commission review that plan after 5 years to determine whether or not there's any changes that need to take place, any additions, any supplements, and then that summary would then be provided to the state for their records also. And that's somewhat important because they do look at comprehensive plans and whether or not this town of Bel Air is adhering to state law. Because right now, they're becoming very, what would you call it, Liz, fatherly? Wanting to make sure we're doing certain things, and they're making us do those things relative to affordable housing.
They're eliminating your autonomy, I think is the term
Yes, they're basically taking some independence away from the towns and counties in the state. So they want to see whether or not you're doing what they want you to do. If you have any,
I read it, and I thought it was a pretty detailed report myself.
great, good. So what I'll end up doing is I'll file this with the town board. Once you do have to vote to approve it, because this is your report. Once it's approved, it'll be filed with the town board, and it'll be sent on to the state.
That, Kevin, under development activity, 403 Baltimore Pike, active play adventure, wasn't that withdrawn?
No, it was approved, and then they
No,
just
I know
never
it was
did it.
approved.
Yeah, but then they
Then they withdrew it, didn't
But
they?
there was no, they sent us a thing saying, we're not gonna go forward, but,
Oh, okay.
it was approved. So,
So, okay.
yeah, it didn't nullify the approval.
Want to thank Kevin and staff for a lot of work goes into this document that we approved pretty perfunctory, and the state that requires it largely ignores, but it's a really good record to be kept on hand from year to year about what's going on from the direction of planning.
So you put it on your nightstands, and if you have any insomnia, you can,
Right next to comprehensive plan.
I told Kevin before the meeting that I had a visitor come by for a bit this morning and was actually reading, he saw this document and was actually reading it. I said, no one reads this. But he was reading it, so good for him. So if there's nothing else, I'll move that we approve the annual report as submitted to us.
Second.
Roll call? Jeff?
Aye.
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Bill? Jimmy, I say aye too. Good job, Kevin. I thought it was very well done.
very good. You have any questions on the planning or the development activity in town?
Across the street.
No. nothing.
Anybody know what's happening with the properties over the diner for the courthouse? Has Maryland made a different change of heart?
I think they don't have money to make any changes out there. What that was they went forward under Hogan, and then when Westmore took over, there was no appetite to do anything else.
Can we get the diner to come back?
I would love to get the Double T Diner to come back. We have had some inquiries regarding 510 Johnny's. Well, what used to be 510
The
Johnny's.
lot, okay.
Now, the courts don't own that parcel, though.
No,
They do own where the diner and all that
They
was,
own-
so it's-
courts own Lazy Boy, they own the bank, they own the Double T Diner. I don't believe they own
Yeah,
Walgreens.
Walgreens is
No,
for sale
there's a-
also.
There's
Right.
issues with the lease there. Yeah, this is where we're at risk as a town with being part of the significant state operation and the county seat. We're subject to whatever machinations they go through, and here was a really good and attractive corner coming into town, and provided us tax base, and it's gone now, and for apparently no purpose at all. Nothing
It was
happening.
really a terrible decision.
Yeah.
It actually doesn't rank as high as when the last group of courts came in and demoed the Masonic Lodge. This would be
Yeah.
close to as bad.
Yep.
But there's
Does-
nothing in the state's 5-year capital improvement program to do anything?
I have not looked in the 5-year,
Okay.
but I don't see anything this year.
I've been told, the lawyers have been told that it's been shelved.
Really?
Yeah,
So sell it.
I know.
Give it back to
I know.
everybody.
It
The one-
was, the lawyers in Hartford County were very, very upset. We weren't even consulted, and nobody wants it to leave downtown because we all walk between the two buildings and, makes it easy, practice law.
Yeah.
Any
The
update on-
Wellwood, which got an extension from you, is coming up on their Board of Appeals expiration. If they don't break ground and start construction, they will lose their approval from the Board of Appeals. And then they'll lose your approval next October. So I'm not sure what's gonna happen with that. It's actually a great project. We need some more assisted living, but, huh? They put a lot of money into it, yeah. I think their biggest problem's been State Highway.
And you said nothing's going on across the street. Is the property for sale, or what's the?
It was, I can't say it's been sold. It has an interested party, and they have not closed on that deal.
And they have a time meter running on their approval, right?
I'm assuming yes.
No, I mean,
yeah.
from the standpoint of the approved plan here.
No, they are under construction. They are vested.
So they have an indefinite time then to?
No, if they do not, they stopped construction, I can't tell you what the date would be, but if they go more than a year without
when they
construction
start.
activity, then they lose their building permit.
What happens if they leave the site and they say, okay, we can't make this work. We're walking away, and now the site looks like that.
Right?
Do they have a bond that the town goes and says, okay, we want it, we want to clean
There
it
are
up a little
construction
bit?
bonds that are there, but those don't guarantee, they're not a performance bond that would guarantee they move forward. Most of the time, if they walk away, they're gonna be in bankruptcy. So,
I'm sorry, can't hear you, Liz. Speak into your microphone.
Touche.
I'm jumping on that bandwagon. If the owners go into bankruptcy and they're under construction, you will have a hole. And there is nothing anyone can do about that until the bankruptcy works itself out, because now the property is the property of the bankruptcy trustee, basically. They don't build buildings. So,
Well, it's a valuable piece of land, so
is.
at some point, somebody will buy
Somebody
it
will
out
get
of
it.
bankruptcy or
Yeah.
out of somewhere and want to do something with it.
Yeah.
It may be the same or different than what's
Yeah.
approved now, but
Yeah.
it won't just, there's a lot of value there.
yeah.
right.
So, we'll see what happens.
I also heard a vicious rumor that Amazon Fresh Foods is no longer going to be around. They're going to convert some of their stores to Whole Foods, which at the
Which-
mall. Whole
That is
Foods going
doubtful
in one
for
end,
us,
and
yeah.
what's going to happen to the other end, phase one now?
Likely what will happen is they're going to look for another user. Right now, Amazon is paying rent for an empty store
Hmm.
because they have a lease. I think Whole Foods, has any desire to go in that store. They want to go in the store that they designed and is suited to them for their needs. So they're going to have to find some other user to come in and occupy the,
A competing grocery store.
it could be, I'm not really sure.
Trader
In a
Joe's.
s- to a
Trader
certain extent,
Joe's.
I'd
they
love
were
to see
both
a Trader
competing
Joe's.
against- I remember raising the question when Phase 3 was coming in, well, you've already got an Amazon-owned grocery store at the other end. Oh, we're good with that. Well, turns out maybe not so much. But I saw the same thing you saw, Jimmy, that they're not opening any new Amazon Fresh, and that would suggest that would include this one, even though they're paying
Well,
rent.
you're going to see 3 submissions regarding that site next month.
Did you
One
say
is-
3?
3.
Oh,
One is a subdivision. The other one, and that one's consistent with what we've done in the previous ones. Another one is what is now referred to as Phase 5, which is a bank at the corner of Tollgate and Route 1. And the last one is that they're looking at modifying the elevations of the residential development. Do know that you can either approve or deny the alteration to the elevations, but you can't, it won't make the development go away. And then there's, no, I don't think they're really changing the size. I think it's more the fenestration of it, they're altering, where the brick is versus where
It's just architectural?
it's architectural. Yeah. The size of the building stays the same.
So Paul will review that?
I'm sorry?
Paul will review that?
Paul would review that, yeah.
Will
Yeah, that
your
was a
replacement be
big
here by then?
discussion, yeah.
I'm sorry?
Will your replacement be here by then?
No, I'll be here on the 5th of March.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
1 foot out the door, yeah.
your official last planning commission meeting.
And then there's one other one that's submitted, which is not really McPhail Crossing was just a group of commercial users, 3 of them. Patient First, Dick's Sports, and Weiss Markets. Then Dick's Sports left and they split the old Dick's Sports into 2. When they did that, they now met the definition of shopping center. So we brought them in, we said, look, you're now a shopping center, you've got to submit back to the planning commission, have them approve you as such. Now, there's not a whole lot that needs to be done out there, but we did require some landscape. That's about it.
So the patient first is part of that?
Patient First is part of that.
Same.
I always thought that was separate.
Well, it's on-
They thought it was separate. That's why it's been lingering around for about a year. They use the master stormwater management. They use parking. They use access. They're considered what the lawyers would call an integrated scheme of development.
This is different than the Looney's Shopping Center to the extent that there's no parking issue over at this one, right?
No, absolutely not. They're about 100 spaces over.
Anything changing with that? Remember there was rumor that the restaurant might want to move into the old 7-Eleven there?
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
I heard that rumor, but
Well, the restaurant's doing pretty well. They're good. That's good
Yeah, they
pizza.
do well.
So that'd be great. Now, if they do that, if they move into that becomes a 3. Now they're no longer a shopping center.
You have to provide more
So
parking.
Yeah, so
We've been around a couple of directions with it.
Not if they have Rudy's East and Rudy's West.
hey,
Two separate.
Okay?
that's
any
it.
more business?
Yes, sir.
A motion to
Move for
adjourn?
adjournment.
Adjourned.
Catch that?